Absolutely, and having a higher age limit also, Rick, okay, is something that would be an easy take for the owners because you know as well as I do, evaluating an 18-year-old player and knowing what he's going to be is a lot more difficult than evaluating a 22-year-old player when you're deciding who you're going to pay big money to.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why it's so foolish for these players to have been given this advice. But, I mean, I just think that it's reprehensible what's going on. It really and truly is. And then another factor when you take into consideration what's going on with all of this nonsense is that for the good of the players, they can come out heroes. How about this proposal? Okay, we'll take what you're asking. The owner's asking 50-50 split. We'll take the 50-50 split. Then you agree on a threshold, okay, when they reach a certain number of dollars, then it reverts back to, let's say, 62-38 in our favor to allow us to make up some of the money that we are willing to give up to you guys in order to help you get back to being at least breaking even and making some money. And we'll take that to a certain threshold again, then we'll cut it back. You can come up with some kind of a proposal to make that work. They would look like really good. Now, here's the other thing, too. Then they come out and say, look, for the good of the game and for the good of all of the people whose jobs are totally tied to having an NBA season, we're going to capitulate, and we're going to give in to the owners, and we're going to allow them to go 50-50, and we're also going to do that because now we know that there will be a season, and we're not going to inadvertently and not adversely affect the lives of so many people who depend on us having a season. They will look like freaking heroes.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I heard Billy Hunter use a term last month in speaking to a group of people of saying there's too many people here that want to save face. And I was appalled with that term, save face. The amount of people whose jobs are going to be lost in a brutal economy right now because of this lockout, because they can't come to an agreement over billions of dollars, it's deplorable. It's absolutely deplorable.
Well, think of this. Should the head of this union pose for a picture on the front page of the USA Today with a big smile on his face talking about his life and all the things that he's done, hey, he's supposed to be in the background. He's giving advice. He's negotiating. He makes a statement after they've had meetings, whatever it may be, but it's not about him. And in that article, I think the real truth came out. There was a statement made, quoted from him. The NBA brought a proposal that they knew I would reject. Did you hear that? I would reject. Isn't it we? Isn't he representing the union? No, I would reject.
Gotten a little big for his britches, Rick.
I rest my case.
Billy Hunter did have a quote that kind of stirred me when he was, very pompous when this lockout was approaching, saying, this isn't the first rodeo I've been to, but I bet you Stern would love it if you were the head of the union right now, Rick. But I do have one question. If your sons were still playing in this league during this lockout, what kind of advice would you give them in terms of, either playing overseas or, wait it out, just get as many promotions as you can get, summer league play? What kind of advice would you give your sons if they were still in the league
tell them
today?
to call up their friends and tell them, let's not be stupid, guys. We need to play and make a deal. We need to start this season on time because all we're going to do is lose money needlessly. There is no way that they're not going to have to make some kind of concessions. Do it now. Don't jeopardize any part of the season whatsoever. For the good of the game, for the good of all these people, make a freaking deal. I mean, that's what you have to do. I heard two players from Portland or something, I guess. Yeah, well, we've saved our money. We're prepared to sit out the season if we have to. How ridiculous is that? Yeah, we're prepared to give up multi-millions of dollars in order to get what? What are they proving? They're going to jeopardize the freaking sport because I'll tell you what, if they have a lockout, and I'm hearing that this could not be a season. If that were to happen, people are going to realize, you know what? Geez, I survived without the NBA. They're going to lose fans. There is no question about it.
Going to damage the game. There's no two ways about it. And, hockey took a long time to recover from this in the season, but this will be a lot worse because, you know what, there is an alternative to the NBA. College basketball is a fun game to watch. It's exciting, and very frankly, it competes with the NBA for the entertainment dollar. And if they give up the season, you're absolutely correct. They're going to see cuts across the board, and with new TV contracts coming down the pike within 5 years, it's a bad time for this to happen.
Yep, it's unfortunate that it's taking place. I hope they come to their senses, but this could be worked out. I mean, and it should have been worked out 6-8 months ago, so that you never get to this point. But you know what? hey, when you get to this point, there's a lot of publicity out there, right? Hey, front page story on the thing. Oh yeah, believe me, this is not good, and these guys are being led down a very, very dangerous path.
Absolutely. Let's change gears for a minute, Rick. Today's NBA, your favorite player to watch. You're one guy that's must-see TV for you to sit down or go see live that you enjoy watching play the most.
I'll give you 5 guesses. I bet you know.
You're probably going to say LeBron James, right?
Nope.
Kevin Durant?
Nope.
Kobe Bryant?
Rajon Rondo?
Nope.
Dwight Howard?
Got one more guess. No. Steve Nash.
Jacob, you got one more for him?
Steve Nash. You gave me 5. Steve Nash. I love watching Steve Nash play. I just think that he plays the point guard position the way it needs to be played. He is unselfish. He would rather get an assist than have to score, but if he needs to score, he will. He can make all the passes with both hands, which I think makes him probably the best passing point guard I've ever seen, because nobody that I've ever seen before can make bounce passes, other passes with either hand. I just love the way Steve Nash plays. I really and truly do. And he should have been a 3-time MVP. You know, he was a 2-time MVP, but the guy is unbelievable. Now he's getting a little bit older and not quite doing the same things, but I just love the way Steve Nash plays the game. Now, the other guys you mentioned, yes, do I enjoy watching Kevin Durant? Obviously I do. LeBron, it's disappointing to me because as great as he is, he should be better. And that's what bothers me about the game itself, is that as great as these players are, if they were taught certain things that they've never been taught, they would be even better and it'd be more exciting and more fun for all of us to watch as fans. Dwayne Wade, Dwight Howard. You mentioned a number of them that are really fun players to watch. Kobe, obviously, I'm a big Kobe fan, always have been. So there's a lot of great individual players out there. But as far as my favorite to watch over the years, I tell my son, you see that's the way you need to play. You need to play like that.
Now,
I've
Rick,
got another son,
said,
by the way, who's a senior in high school this year.
Okay.
Rick, you said something that kind of made me think of the differences between old basketball and new basketball when you were talking about the finals, saying how, it was a disgrace that Dirk Nowitzki can get to the basket 20 feet out and do a layup and dunk. Out of all the rule changes that have happened, because it seems like it's a much softer game, everybody's friends, it's not as physical as it once was, what are the few rules that you just can't stand in the new modern NBA?
Well, what I can't stand about the NBA is that they don't actually enforce a rule that's been in the books forever, which is moving screens. It's pathetic how many moving screens take place and the officials don't call it. It happens right in front of their face. It's a joke. I get so upset I charted a game between Chicago and Atlanta, and I said, I'm going to see what happens. I charted that I felt were moving screen violations, okay, and that's for both teams. 43 that I charted. Wow. You know how many were called?
2.
0.
Wow.
None of the 43 that I saw did they ever call a moving screen violation, and some of them were absolutely pathetic. If they called moving screens, Kevin Garnett would foul out of every game he plays in.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Because, the way they call it is that they're only going to call it if you stick out a hip. You move your feet and you get there late, and that is technically an illegal screen. You have to be established in position. You get there late.
So often, it's pathetic.
Yep. Absolutely. Let me ask you this question, okay?